guys again. um I actually forgot there's another thing I wanted to talk about. Um so yeah, you're gonna have to see me again. um yeah. Sorry, I haven't been doing YouTube videos for a while, so I feel a little bit awkward doing this. But sorry, I'm like a bit sunburned, so kind of starting to hurt actually a little bit. But these past few days, or maybe about almost 2 weeks now, I've been noticing myself wanting, not necessarily wanting, because there's a part of me that's like resisting it, but there's a certain part of me, and I would say it's like, hold on, let me just say it first. But there's a certain part of me that wants to, or feels like it has to do certain behaviors that, I used to do before, more so when I was like a kid or a teenager, or respond to certain feelings or certain people in a certain way that I used to when I was like a child, a teenager. And so I've been kind of in this weird phase right now where I'm kind of like listening to that, inner teenager, inner child in me, seeing, why, I'm trying to do adult things. I'm trying to be an adult, and I'm starting to have certain feelings or certain impulses that, like I used to do or react a certain way when I was a child. And I watched Holes for the first time yesterday with, oh, this is bothering me. I watched Holes, the movie, yesterday for the first time. And I've heard so much about this one scene where this little girl is like, "I'm tired, Grandpa." And he's like, "Well, that's too damn bad." And I've heard that so much, but I've never seen the movie until now. So I'm like, oh, And today when I was in the shower, my mind just kept playing that scene. I'm like, okay, why do you keep thinking about this? And during that time, my heart, I'm someone who's very feely, so I've learned that feeling my emotions and, really feeling things out helps me to really figure out, deeper meanings, or what my subconscious, what my intuition is really saying, what the universe is really trying to tell me. So during that time, I was feeling like kind of like unsteadiness, very emotional, but in a very like I don't know how you say, like in a very nervous, reactive way. So, if you have been feeling like there's certain parts of you that you're kind of combating with or struggling with, maybe try, tapping into that. See, like, why is this certain part of me coming back, especially if it's like, the type of version of you when you were like 15 or 11 or, maybe 20. So I was like meditating, feeling on this feeling, and thinking about the movie scene, and I realized that my inner self, like ever since I came here. By the way, I'm on vacation, and I'm about to leave now. But yeah, sadly, I'm about to leave. So I get travel sickness, and yesterday, like, and I've been feeling it, like, all of it. I've been feeling nauseous. I've been feeling very tired, very sleep deprived, very stressed out, anxious, very hungry, especially since I've been especially since I've been kind of puking it all up. So ever since the trip, I haven't really ate anything other than like little snacks. And like yesterday, you know, I'm with a certain part of the family. So we were gonna go to a house to eat. And when I went out, my body was telling me like, you need to go back. You need to go back. I don't feel good. I don't feel good. I was like, you know what? We can push through. We can do this. And nope. When I sat down at the table, I started eating like 3 pieces of pineapple. I was like, oh, I felt like I was on the verge of like, I don't know. It felt like I was on the verge of like collapsing and like puking at the same time. So I was like, nope, I gotta go. And the reason why I bring that up and how that relates to this weird scene and the feeling that I had, I've been noticing lately that I haven't really been listening to, I mean, I have, but at the same time, I haven't really been listening to my body or parts of me that are still kind of here. Like, they still come back time to time, and really feeling, really listening what they're trying to tell me. And I've just been like, nope, just kind of push it through. I've been kind of like that grandpa, like, that's too damn bad. So I feel like this is a message for any of you who have been just pushing through life, who have been pushing through this project, pushing through, sorry, I have like a bit of mascara on here. Pushing through your emotions, not really taking the time to sit down, be in the moment, or be in a certain moment, and you've just been, just kind of on the go, or just kind of numbing everything out, kind of just rushing things through, or just kind of living, how you say it, like being a part of life, but not really living life. And I feel like this is a message for me to really be in the moment. And that isn't something that I don't really like to be at the moment. I still struggle with that. Like I said in my previous video, the one I just made, I'm always someone that's just like, I have a very hyperactive mind. Like, there's so many sounds, lights, different colors, different things in my head. It's just all grabbing my attention. And so that's why sometimes you see me like, just because it's just my brain is so like it's so overworked and just so like overstimulated. And even getting like spiritual messages, that can be a lot. And so, and living through trauma, I've never really been able to or used to just really sitting still. And also, I have ADHD, so that's another thing. Sponsored by yours truly. I'm just kidding. Yeah, but so what I've been learning is learning to really listen to yourself, listen to those parts of yourself that maybe you're afraid to tap into because, maybe you think like, hey, this is gonna be like last time, as a kid, or maybe 2 weeks ago, I couldn't really handle it. I couldn't focus. It just didn't work. Or my body reacted poorly. But then also, I've always, like, it's so weird, there's always like a duality. There's always like another side of the coin to everything. Because there's certain behaviors that I've noticed myself kind of not really wanting to do. Like I said, there's like resistance because I'm like, nope, I know that's not good for me. But it's like that inner kid in me that kind of grew up doing certain things, saying certain stuff, or or having certain mindsets whenever I'm stressed. Like it wants to like jump into that. And I guess that's another thing, my nervous system has been up. I've been like pretty stressed lately, not gonna lie. And it's been so overworked that my brain is going back to a lot of childlike responses that I want to do, like even like some dangerous things that I'm not gonna do again. And I think this is also a message about really being a parent for yourself. Or if you don't want to look at it that way, but really kind of checking in with yourself and sitting with that. And and at times, like let's say this is like a really common one, not something that I struggle with, but it's common and the only one I can think of. But trying to quit smoking or doing some sort of like drug, alcohol, or just any habit that can be addicting, or it's just so many things. Okay, so it feels like there's a straitjacket on you, and actually no, let me say example for myself is like, I have ADHD. I have autism. I don't know if that also contributes to me just like, but I'm someone that always has to kind of like move like in some certain way. I have to like look around all the time. I have to like fidget. I have to do something. And not being able to do that, it literally feels like I'm in a straitjacket, and there's like it feels like, and it makes me like, oh, disturbed. It makes me feel so like unsettled. But it makes me feel like I have a bunch of itch spots that I can't scratch, so I'm just here like so in so much like agony and just I can't even describe it. It's just that unsettling to me. But I feel like this is me. This is whoever resonates with this. When it comes to certain people or certain habits or certain mindsets that are coming back, and it's very tempting. It's like you really want to kind of like just scratch that spot. You really want to just talk to this person because because your nervous system's like, hey, like we need to do this thing, we need to talk to that person, we need to do this behavior, and then I can be calm, and then I can be chill. But then the whole point, then especially if you're someone who's trying to really quit smoking, if you're trying not to do certain habits, you're not trying to have certain mindsets that was very self-destructive for you, it was leading you down in a dark hole. in your mind will kind of tell you, like, I need this, like I like if I don't get this, if I can't feel this way, if I can't react this way, like I'm gonna die, like I'm gonna, like, it freaks out. And I think that's what's been happening, like, on another side of the spectrum with this whole nervous system and kind of like my inner child or inner teenager or just old habits just coming back, and people, like, I acknowledge, okay, there's a part of me that needs to kind of like sit here and feel this or observe the situation. But at the same time, I also need to feel this uncomfortable part where it wants to kind of, it wants to itch that spot. And, I know it's not the greatest example, but bear with me here. But deep down, it's not good. It's not the right way. It's, we know where that's going to lead to. So I feel like I've really been having to, I guess, be a parent to myself. I've been having to, yes, listen to what my inner child, is, crying about, yelling about, screaming about. Yes, I understand you, but, and really talking to myself like a child, or really just being a mentor for myself. Or, I'm sorry, talking to myself like a parent. Being a parent for myself, being a mentor for myself, holding myself accountable, yes, I know you feel like you need to freaking binge, or shop, what's it called, shopping, in a very impulsive way or compulsive way, in order for you to feel regulated. But it's like you really have to sit there and be like, no, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna, yes, throw your tantrum, say all the shit you want to say, but we're not going to do what we used to do. And let's go back to that scene of, like, I'm tired, Grandpa. Well, that's too damn bad. I think there's parts of me where I've been, a little too harsh with, and just ignoring, my body. And that's the thing. It's like, it seems like these past few weeks, it's been a constant of, okay, my nervous system, my inner child or whatever, is signaling me about this. It's signaling me about this that's bothering, myself. And it's it's been so much happening so often. I'm like, okay, which one do I need to really kind of toughen up and push aside and be like, nope, that really is too damn bad. Because sometimes you really can't, you really gotta be tough on yourself sometimes. And sometimes, okay, I didn't say all the time, so yeah. But you gotta be, give yourself that tough love. I'm not saying the grandpa, that was tough love, because, yeah, but, but sometimes you gotta be strict with yourself. You gotta be like, well, no, we can't, as much as you wanna cry and break down right now, we're in a fucking meeting, bro. And this, and, in movies, they always make it where the characters' feelings are more important, and then they end up missing work or whatever. And it's like that's in the movies. As much as I wish it can work out like that, it doesn't. This is the real fucking world. And you gotta learn how to learn when to manage these bad habits and emotions. Sometimes you really do gotta toughen it out at work, especially if your boss isn't, very easygoing or very understanding. But then we also got to, when we have those moments, when we have those times, when we definitely have the coping tools to really have our own backs, to really sit with ourselves and be like, okay, now you can start screaming, now you can start crying. Um, you know, yeah, like, let it all out. And even that's like, you gotta be careful how you let that out, where you let it out. You know, I always believe that feelings are important, but there is people that definitely think that everywhere is appropriate just because, like, oh, because my therapist said, like, I should let it out. And I've always hated that, like, people who can't read a fucking room, like, or have some common sense, like, ugh, fucking aggravates me. Like, and it's like, and it's, those people are so interesting. I want to say real quick, those people who really are like, they have like a therapy mindset, but at the same time, they just use it in a way where it's manipulative, where it becomes enabling, and it's like, oh, that's so that's so complicated. Like, very interesting how people even use like that to their advantage to really abuse others, to really enable their own behaviors by saying like, oh, well, you know, my therapist said I need to let it out, so I'm gonna do it right now. Or you know, my girlfriend said that I need to take some time out for myself, so I'm not gonna take care of the kid. You know what I mean? There's people like that, and I fucking hate that. Okay, anyways, sorry. Woo. See what I mean? Getting distracted, god damn it. But yeah, so so it's really about, I feel like, learning to attend to yourself accordingly. And sometimes you gotta give yourself tough love. Sometimes, you know, you really gotta be that therapist, that counselor for yourself, that parent, that lover to yourself, you know, that friend to yourself. And at times, sometimes you need to have like a little mixture of those. Maybe 70% you gotta be that friend. Okay, 30%, right? 8, 9. Okay. Don't know how to math sometimes, but, and sometimes, you know, 30% you gotta, I said parent. 30% you gotta like, no, I said friend. I forgot. God damn it. But sometimes you just gotta give yourself that tough love, just a little bit. So, you know, if you've been kind of struggling with this, like, you know, having parts of you that you're you know, it's like these bad habits, these people that are like, you're trying to move forward with your life, basically. You're trying to have a new mindset, you're trying to have a new attitude, you're trying to have a new way of life, living, new people. And it's like things are coming up, and it's like there's that nervous system in you that's like, oh, you know, wants to cope in certain ways that you used to, or that you are trying to get away from, that was harmful, or, you know, to help regulate you. But if anything, that's like you know, excuse me, that's like giving a kid what they want after them, you know, crying and throwing a tantrum about it. It's like you didn't really solve anything. You just enabled their behavior. Now next time it's gonna get worse if you don't give them what they want. You know what I mean? So that's what it's like with our nervous system. You know, it'll throw a tantrum. It'll kind of even make ourselves sick, just so it can kind of, so we can be more led into more likely coping in the ways that weren't safe, but our mind and our brain convinces us like, oh, it's safe because it's familiar. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's all I really have to say. But just learn. I mean, I know it's fucking hard, but just take one step at a time. You know, try to be graceful. And you don't have to take it all at once. I know sometimes it really does come at you all at once, but thankfully it doesn't last forever. So yeah, let me know. I know, sorry, this was a lot, but excuse me. Let me know what you think, and yeah, let me know if this makes sense to you, if you have questions about like, oh, what do you mean by this? And yeah, see you guys next time.